Lady, and good evening to everyone else. Welcome to our Kingdom Study for this evening. It is good to have everybody on board. Welcome to the Live Right family. And this is the penultimate day of our fast, and I trust that everyone is well, doing fine. We want to continue with where we left off last evening. I don't want us to lose sight of where we are at. The broad topic really is who we are, and then we are talking about love. We started talking about different types of love, and we also started talking about what is love, and we went to 1 Corinthians chapter 13, and we saw that love is patient. That's where we are. Love is patient. And in looking at the fact that love is patient, we looked at some stories in the Bible, two stories of love. One where the person was patient, that's Jacob, and the other one where the person was not patient, that's Amnon, when he raped his sister. So we started talking about rape and what is rape. And coming out of that, we asked the question, one of the different types of rape really is spousal or marital rape. So we started talking about whether or not a man can rape his wife. And that led to a number of different things. And I'm glad that we are having this discussion because, we're learning. And one of the things we're learning that men and women are different. We see things differently. We act differently. We think differently. My son came to me and he said, based on what I'm hearing, all discouraging me, my own words, I don't remember his exact words, said you're all discouraging me from getting married. And I said to him, no. It's important for us to discuss these things even before, so that if there's construction going on, somewhere down the road, you need to know. You need to know so you could either take a detour, if you have to drive carefully. You can't wait until you get there and wondering what to do. So it's important for us to go ahead for some people and discuss these things. And for some people, it's what's happening to them right now. And we need to talk about it so that we can navigate all these different things that we are experiencing as married people. So this is for both the married and the unmarried. And one of the last things I said to you yesterday, people were talking about communication being essential to marriage, which is true. But communication without understanding is useless. And it's important for us to have understanding. Understanding is very, very key. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. I want to share with you a little bit, and then we get back into the discussion, all right? So let's talk a little bit. And I want to ask Joshua, if you would read Proverbs chapter 4, verses 5 to 7. Proverbs chapter 4, verses 5 to 7. Joshua, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Dr. Richards. Yes, Proverbs chapter 4, verses 5 to 7. Yes, sir, right?
Go ahead.
Yeah. And it says, get wisdom, get understanding. Do not forget, nor turn away from the words of my mouth. Do not forsake her, and she will preserve you. Love her, and she will keep you. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and in all your getting, get understanding.
Thank you. All right, so wisdom is a principle, a main thing. It's important to get wisdom, but in all you're getting, as you get wisdom, you have to get understanding. In other words, wisdom is nothing without understanding. And what is wisdom? Well, wisdom really is knowledge in action, the application of knowledge. When you know something and you use it, that's wisdom. To know something and just know it is not wisdom. What is understanding then? Understanding means to grasp the meaning of something, to know the meaning, to see something the way it is intended to be seen. That's understanding. To see it the way it really is. It's like truth. Understanding is truth. To grasp the meaning of something. And communication, as we were talking about last night, is useless without understanding. Because I could talk to you and communicate everything I want to say to you, but if you don't understand it, it doesn't make sense. If I'm speaking in Spanish and you understand only English, it doesn't make sense. So communication is one thing, but communication is enhanced by understanding. And so it's important. So let's look a little bit at the importance of understanding. First Lady, could you read for us Genesis 11, 1-9?
Good night again, everyone. Now the whole earth had one language and one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. Then they said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly." They had brick for stone, and they had asphalt for mortar. And they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower whose top is in the heavens. Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad over the face of the whole earth." But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the sons of men had built. And the Lord said, "Indeed, the people are one, and they have one language. And this is what they begin to do. Now nothing that they purpose to do will be withheld from them. Come, let us go down and there confuse their language, and they may not understand one another's speech." So the Lord scattered them abroad from there over the face of all the earth, and they ceased building the city. And therefore its name is called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of all the earth, and from there the Lord scattered them abroad over the face of all the earth.
Very familiar story. Thank you, First Lady. Very familiar story. We see the importance of understanding here. God had to cause them to misunderstand or not understand each other, to stop them, because he said, you know what God said? The people are one. They have one mind. And when you are in oneness and in one accord, when you understand one another, when there's harmony, there's nothing that you can't do. There's nothing that we can't do as man, and God is saying that. So the Lord confused their language so that they didn't understand one another. Maybe it was men and women, that's why we still can't understand each other today. But I wanted to use this portion of scripture to underscore the importance of understanding, because the opposite of understanding is misunderstanding or confusion. And that's what God calls confusion, so that they would not understand one another, so they would stop building this city. He didn't come down and kill them. He didn't send wild animals to eat them. What he did was he caused them not to understand one another. Understanding is important. And if you don't understand, it's a serious thing. Lack of understanding can kill you. Joshua, I want you to play that first video. I want you all to take a look at this video that Joshua is about to play. It's just about less than a minute. But I want Joshua to play this video right now.
Das hier ist Mindset.
Come, so you need to share the screen so everybody can see. Joshua? Don't miss it. It's just about, I think it's about 47 seconds long.
Das hier ist das wichtigste Gerät des Küstenwächters. Das Gerät ist das Überlebensradar.
Mayday, Mayday. us? Can you hear us? Can you... Over. We are sinking. We are sinking.
Hello? This is the German Coast Guard.
We are sinking. We're sinking.
What are you thinking about?
Hope you got that. I still laugh whenever I see that. What are you thinking about? Misunderstanding. Misunderstanding can kill you. Misunderstanding can kill you. And so we understand, what we understand now is that men and women think differently. And it's because of this difference in thinking, misunderstanding occurs. So let's talk a little bit about men and women. And I want to share this with you, and then we're going to have some discussion. Because I suspect I'm going to lose some friends tonight, some lady friends. But I want to share this with you and concerning men and women and the differences. For example, number one, and I'll start at the top. Women do not understand why men like sex so much. Women don't understand that. And we're talking in general terms here, because it's not every woman. Women don't understand, but we were built that way. We were built by God that way. And women go through different phases, emotional phases, physical phases, every month. But men are fixed. And the desire for sex for men doesn't go away. It doesn't happen at a particular time of month. And whether, it doesn't matter what our emotional state is, woman, and this is to help you. It doesn't matter what the emotional state of your husband is, he is always ready. And I know you don't understand that, but it is just a natural, normal thing that has been built in. So whether you're vexed or not, it doesn't matter if you're angry, if you just came from an argument, it doesn't matter to him. Why is that? Because men can compartmentalize things. Men can compartmentalize things. If we are washing the car, we washing the car. If we're watching TV, we watching TV. You all will say we can't multitask. I want to say we compartmentalize things. We don't do 2 and 3 different things. We are focused on one thing. Have you ever heard of the nothing box? I don't know how many of you have ever heard of the nothing box. If you have never heard of the nothing box, I want you to just listen to this. Joshua, play the other video for them for me, please. The nothing box. For you ladies who have never heard, all right? And let me just preamble this by saying this. Men can compartmentalize things. So everything for man is like a chest of drawers. But each thing is in a drawer. So when he's working, that's one drawer. When he's playing, that's one drawer. If he's watching TV, that's the next drawer. Sex is another drawer. They're not connected. They are all, and he uses one drawer at a time. That's how a man thinks. That is how he works. All right. They're like, but the author of this says boxes. Men have different boxes, and everything has a box. And he doesn't use 2 boxes at the same time. It's always one at a time. So let's look at this box that is called the nothing box.
Men's brains, women's brains, and how they're very different from each other. Now, I want to start with men's brains. All right. Now, men's brains are very unique. Men's brains are made up of little boxes. And we have a box for everything. We've got a box for the car. We've got a box for the money. We've got a box for the job. We've got a box for you. We've got a box for the kids. We've got a box for your mother somewhere in the basement. We got boxes everywhere. And the rule is the boxes don't touch. When a man discusses a particular subject, we go to that particular box, we pull that box out, we open the box, we discuss only what is in that box. All right? And then we close the box and put it away, being very, very careful not to touch any other boxes. Now, women's brains are very, very different from men's brains. Women's brains are made up of a big ball of wire. And everything is connected to everything. The money's connected to the car, and the car's connected to your job, and your kids are connected to your mother, and everything's connected to everything. And it's like... It's like the internet superhighway, okay? And it's all driven by energy that we call emotion. It's one of the reasons why women tend to remember everything. Because if you take an event and you connect it to an emotion, it burns in your memory and you can remember it forever. The same thing happens for men. It just doesn't happen very often because, quite frankly, we don't care. Women tend to care about everything. And she just loves it. Okay? Now, men, we have a box in our brain that most women are not aware of. This particular box has nothing in it. In fact, we call it the nothing box. And of all the boxes a man has in his brain, the nothing box is our favorite box. If a man has a chance, he'll go to his nothing box every time. That's why a man can do something seemingly completely brain dead for hours on end. You know, like fishing. Now, they've actually measured this. The University of Pennsylvania a couple of years ago did a study and discovered that men have the ability to think about absolutely nothing and still breathe. You know, they connected all the wires and stuff like that and watched the brain activity, then all of a sudden, I think he's dead. Huh? You know, women can't do it. They can't do it. Their minds never stop. And they don't understand the nothing box. And it drives them crazy. Because nothing drives a woman more crazy or makes her feel more irritated than to witness a man doing nothing.
Yeah. Okay. So for those of you who are seeing it for the first time, I'm sure you have, in fact, I'm sure all of you have lots of comments to make. We hear about that, you know, in a little while. But you know, there's truth to that. And women don't understand the way men think, and men have the ability to just do nothing. And you think we're lazy, we're good for nothing, you know, but men can do nothing and enjoy it. So a man can sit down in front of the TV. Sometimes he's not even watching the TV, he's just there. And a woman don't understand that. But for a woman, and according to, you know, the research, a woman's brain is connected to everything. So last night, people were asking, how come, and we just asked the question, how come men like sex so much. And it's not that men like sex so much, it's just that what men do, and I say it because I'm a man, men can isolate every other event that takes place. You could be fighting like cat and dog 5 minutes before, but that is for that box. And when that box goes back and he's ready, when he pulls out his intimacy box or his sex box, he's ready for that. Women, because everything is connected, what happened 5 minutes ago is connected to now. What happened last week or last month when he didn't do this and he didn't know, is connected to now, and she's not able to respond to him because she remembers everything. And that's just the way it is. So we need to understand that men and women are different. And that was just a little example of the differences between men and women. So, in fact, let me not continue. Let me pause here for some comments. Is that true, ladies? Do you find that to be true? Do you understand now? Anybody? Or you think that is absolute nonsense? Somebody said something?
And Dr. Richards, just listening to that, I had to laugh because it is such a truth. It really is a truth. He made it comical, but it is true. I have to agree because, as we said last evening, you do something and a man does something, upsets his wife, and her mind is not on sex because she's still, as the man said, we're still tooting on what happened, earlier on. Someone said in the chat, seem like our brains are jumbled up and men have no brains.
I don't think so.
Though they enjoy the TV and watches them, then someone says, I can relate. And someone says, yes, some men are really nutting box.
No, but it's a fact. It's true. It is true that men can spend time doing absolutely nothing and enjoy it to the max. Women don't understand that because you always have to be doing something. You always have to be doing something. Or it's cleaning. I tell my wife, or she could tell you, I don't understand why she's always washing, she's always cleaning, she's always doing. You gotta rest. You gotta slow down. But she can't because it's natural. It's built into her to be doing all these things. But if we have no further comments or questions, we will move on. So we're trying to. All right. So we're looking at the differences between men and women, and I'm just trying to help ladies to understand. Women cannot understand why men can never find anything in the house. Isn't that true, ladies? Men could never find anything in the house. You ask them to look for something, they can't find it. Or they always coming to you, where is this and where is that? Is that so? Ladies, have you experienced that? Men could never find, never kind. Yes, ladies, true? Okay, First Lady.
Sorry, Doctor, just trying to unmute. Some people said women can multitask, men cannot. How do they remember sex? That's the question.
Because that's the box. We have a box for it.
True, they remember that. Yes, true. And someone says it is right. It is right there in their face,
Mm-hmm. All right. So, ladies, let me see if I could explain why it is men cannot find anything. Think about this. A man's wife asks him, honey, look in the cupboard and see if there is a bottle of coffee there, and just bring it for me, please. He goes to the cupboard and he looks. There's no coffee. So he says, babes, There no coffee, you know. She said, yes, it's right there in the cupboard. He looks again, and it's not there. And he said, tell the girl, let's have no coffee here. And she said, I am sure there's coffee in a bottle in the cupboard. He looks for the third time, and there's no coffee. He says to her, babes, I'm not seeing any coffee there. So she gets up and she comes, she goes to the cupboard, and she takes out a bottle of coffee and shows him, look, there it is. How could that happen? Well, I have a theory for that. It's something that is called NPV. Men suffer from NPV. What is NPV? It's called non-peripheral vision. Non-peripheral vision. What is non-peripheral vision? Men are not able to see the whole picture. We can see what is in front of us. So if the coffee was at the side of the cupboard, he is not able to see it. So if you want a man to see something, put it in the middle of the cupboard, lady. Put it right in front of his eye. Don't put it in the corner, left or right, because he's not able to see out of the sides of his eyes. Now that might sound funny, but I'm telling you, men suffer with NPV, non-peripheral vision. It's like you're walking down the street, you and your husband walking down the street, or men, you and your wife walking down the street, and you see this lady, and or let's say you see a man, and the man is walking towards you. Your wife is able to look at him, even as he passes. She can describe what he was wearing. She could tell her friends, you know, the shoes he was wearing, the pants, everything about him, even the back, because she's able to see, not just in front, but when he's passing at the side. For a man, it's different. If you're walking on the road with your wife and this lady is passing, yes, you will see her coming. But if she's at the side, once she reaches the side, or if she's standing at the side, a woman will be able to see the man on the side, but a man, in order for the man to see, he has to turn around and look. And that is what gets us in trouble, because the woman sees us turning around, because men have NPV, non-peripheral vision. We have to look left and we have to look right in order for us to be able to see what is happening. So don't expect us to see everything in the house, because unless it is in the middle. Ladies, what do you think of that theory? I want to hear the ladies. That's my theory, ladies.
Dr. Richards, I didn't even realize that there is something called such. You know, but you know, you speak the truth.
No, peripheral vision exists. Being able to see out of the side of your eyes, so a lady is able to see out of the side of her eyes. A man, the person has to be in front of him. So, and if she's standing at the side or she's passing at the side, in order for the man to say he has to turn and look, and that's why we always get caught. Because we have to look.
That makes sense. It makes sense. We have some comments in the chat, yes. Some people said true, they remember that. Another one, and it's right there. I read that before. Someone said if we don't do it, how will I think that person hasn't finished with the comment. Someone says he will never find it. And she's saying this is her husband. Someone else says men just look for things with their eyes closed. And someone else says that is an excuse. Another is it's their box empty. Another, you are killing me with laughter. Funny enough, due to my husband's blindness, I can describe and he will get it. Then someone asked the question, all men? Nah, man. And then someone else says they put it in front, behind, above, beneath, left and right, middle also, and they still cannot see it. Another comment is they're always in their nothing box, so they see nothing. Oh my gosh. And another comment and she will see him turning around from the corner of her eyes.
She has
Another comment,
vision.
of course. And another is that why my husband always urinates on the floor? Then another comment is, it really makes sense sometimes if my hubby is driving, he just watches straight ahead. If I ask him if he didn't see someone at the side, he will say no. You know,
I'm telling you. But it's my theory, yeah? This is my theory.
And
but I'm suggesting it to you.
We have a hand up. Sister Christine.
Sister Christine?
Sorry, she should be able to unmute now.
Hello, good night. I've been laughing right through. But we should understand about women, eh? We've been taught. We have eyes behind our head, we see on the side. We tell our children that all the time. I can see you. Because we have eyes behind our head. So it's nothing strange, right? About us. It's the truth. We really have eyes behind our head and inside all about.
Yeah, and that's true. Even with the children, sometimes you should ask your husband, but you see the children doing that? You right here and the children doing something. He didn't see. He didn't see. You understand? They were not right in front of him. If they were in front of him, he would have been able to see. NPV, I call it. Any other comments, questions before we move on?
Yes, there's another comment. That's why cars have side mirrors. I get it now.
I'm just trying to help you to understand, ladies, so you don't frustrate yourself. All right, last night we asked you, what do you want? What do you want men to understand? I'm trying to help you to understand the men.
Sister Susan, hand is up.
Go ahead.
Yes, I is the one that was trying to say, but Professor said you always doing work and he's trying to get you to stop and relax and whatnot. But my thing on that is, if we don't do it, who would? We have to do the work in the house.
Okay. Okay, that's what Elagay was sharing last night, yes.
But Dr. Richards, and that is so true. And even so, sometimes you, with the exception of Elder Sheldon, he's quite quiet tonight. There are some men, even if you ask them to do something, they get it done their way. And it's not necessarily what should I say? I don't want to use the word the correct way, because some that may cause a but they just do it quickly. It's not done, like you would take your time to do something. If you ask them to sweep or help you sweep, they try to sweep, but yet still sometimes you just question how they could miss this. And then you find yourself having to go back and do it. So you resort to, you know what, just don't even bother to ask. And someone told me once that she felt that the man in her home was purposely doing things halfway to irritate her so that she would do it the right way, and not come and ask him to do it. That's how it is. We have another, no, okay, right. They do it on their time. On their time.
Yeah. And this is just to help you to
Elder
understand
Sheldon,
differences.
hand is up, Dr. Richards. Elder Sheldon.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Ladies, I just wanted to say, not all men suffer with NPV. So please remember that.
This is a general comment, Elder Sheldon. This is just general.
Right? Not all men suffer with that before. Some men, they will see things, but just that they would not say anything. They would tell their friends. They will not tell it to a woman, but when they are aligning with their friends, right? So not all men suffer with MTV. Remember that.
Okay, Sheldon. Okay. Thank you very much.
We have some other comments. Someone says that her husband is a clean person. And someone says my husband as well. I don't know. I'm very happy to hear that, you know. But you see, one of the things is, and as women, you would be able, they would be able to understand what I'm saying. Sometimes you say, okay, listen, I know you cannot clean, but just maintain what I've done, and that will make us happy. You don't know how to clean, you don't know, okay, you don't know how to wash well dishes, you don't know how to do this. Then when it's done, and the kitchen is clean, then all you need to do is just wipe up after yourself, you know. And I'm talking in general as well, you know.
Listen,
Someone
let me
says
say
yes,
something.
elder Sheldon, confession is good for the soul. Someone else says correct. Someone says elder Sheldon doesn't have an empty box. And then
Really?
someone says that's all we ask, which is to maintain what we have done. Exactly, you know, and everyone's agreeing to that. And then someone said, my husband cleaning the place does look, my husband cleaning the place does still look in a mess.
And that's the thing. Let me just say this. Let me just say this. Sometimes, ladies, you need to consider, just to consider, don't tell stones at me now, whether your standards are too high. And what I mean by that is sometimes you do all that you do and you think that you did a good job, and then you hear, why is this thing still so dirty, and why is that? I remember it happened a couple of times where in my home, the children would do something, clean something, and they would ask me that it is okay, you know, this looking good, and I would say yes. And then your mother comes and bam, you know, you hear, why is this thing like that? Why is it still so dirty? What? And we are looking at it, me and the boys, and we wonder, what's she talking about? You think clean, it fix it, this straight, that, and we are seeing one thing and she sees something else. So we don't know if sometimes the standards are too high, ladies, for us men, or it's just that we really see things different. We could be looking at the same thing and seeing something different. It's possible because we have experienced it. I have experienced it in my home because my wife likes order. She likes things fixed a particular way, and we try. The four of us, we try, the three boys and myself. And the thing is, and one thing I tell my wife, because when she comes, she says, you all you. And I keep telling you, putting me in the same category as these boys. And she says, yes, it's all of you. All of you messed this up, and all of you didn't fix it, and all of you. And so it's like a male versus female in my house at times when it comes to certain things. But it's just that we try, we really do try. But sometimes even in our trying, it's not good enough because I guess First Lady's standard is up here and the best that we can do is here. And that is what the gap is what causes the problem. Yeah?
We have a hand up, Dr. Richards. Someone says, everything is done in their own time, even cleaning up, and after they make even cleaning up after they make a mess is on their time. And all of you men, all of you are men, you know, and that's true. Pressure is on me, you see. There's no, but let me let me say though, let me really be Joshua is different from all of them. You know, someone says, my husband cleans the kitchen, washes, wears the dishes, clean, season meat, and cook. He only cleaned for the first year of our marriage without a request. Now he does not care to clean, but I'm okay with that because he helps in other areas. Then someone says, don't accept, oh, that's for me, don't accept defeat. Someone said my husband is a clean freak, but is slow. Take up all the time. And we have Samsung SM, hand is up.
Go ahead.
Good night.
Hi.
This is Ursula.
Hi, Ursula.
Good night. I'm really laughing at the background here, but Professor, this is a subject of good. With some men, I understand. Yes, we just look at cleanness and everything. We like things tidy. We like things neat. And even men sometimes dress and, please, come on. I really have to talk about that. I'm not bashing in every man, but there's some men that are good. But if the Bible states you all are head. And this is in the head is the brain that thinks to bring all the rest of the body together. I understand somewhere either the shoulder, the hands will say, hey, nah, not that. I understand somewhere the eyes might say, I ain't seen this, I seen this, this dirty, and already I've seen it, I cannot dirty. We are called help meet. I believe it's help meet or help us in the Bible. And we really have to help men because some men really don't see or have an eye for these vision what we women have. So even if Adam was in the garden alone and he's naming all this animal and he had all this choice, then he go run out of names. So a woman had to come in and say, hey, since an animal named horse, it have a young, like call it a baby horse or a pony or, give it a next name. Man will stick with one name and then he go call all the same. So I said, no, I'm not bashing all men. It has some men, I don't know. I live with some and I don't know when they wake up. Because if men want women to live with them, right? And they decided, hey, they're thinking about the future and the things to come and the things will happen if we have children and whatever. They're not thinking about them. Some men don't. They're thinking at how, hey, I'm going to buy a car and I'm going to drive it on the road. I'm going to work taxi. Now me working on taxi with that. Somehow we go get food for the house. And then you have the woman. You want to put the bird in the cage or in the nest. And you haven't prepared the nest properly. Right? I went through a phase of it. You haven't prepared the nest properly, but you want to put a bird. Now the bird watching that, hey, yeah, no chairs, okay. You have no kitchen, you have a kitchen, but you have no stove, you have no pot. What we will eat? You want to bring the bird home. How you going to bring the bird home if you don't prepare for the bird? Right? This bird is so, but at first sight, you love how it looks, how it feels, yes. You say, I love this bird, I want this bird in my house. But you never ask this bird how she maintain herself. How she do it. Right? I listened so long and I laughed and I said, this is a topic might go on for weeks, but it has ways some men can open their eyes and see the beauty. You see a beautiful woman, she look great, she look nice. When you put that in your house, later down in 5 or 6 years after you don't finally get married, you find it out of shape. You dislike how it look and you want to go for something brand new, sexy and similar. I thought the first time you saw the first wife, but you never ask. You never think what made that woman reach that stage. Never look. She hair gray and she dyeing it just to look good. But he's looking at the pretty thing we're passing young. You might not have a zeal to say, hey, I can handle that. And then when you do give up on it, listen. When you do give up on it and leave it to go its way, it finally gets in good shape, it tiny pick up itself and move on and things. That the woman move on and she gets someone else in her life and someone will treat her far better than what you were treating her. And then you have where you sit down and you watch, hey, you had this before and this is what you miss out on. Some men don't think that. The only thing that's how she's pretty and nice, good, yeah, she's seen our children, she's seen all the house. But they're not thinking that, hey, all this hard work paying off for a certain purpose for your future. For your future.
Sister Usma,
yes,
yeah, you're taking us into another round that we will get there because we want to look at the solutions to all of this.
Yeah, but that's my solution in some things. Look before you leap.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have some comment. Yeah, Ursula, I had us laughing here. Dr. Richards, we have some comments in the chat. Someone says, ladies, we know some of us don't like to clean either. Then another comment, my husband likes to wash, but I think he wants to control the washing machine. And then another comment, whenever my husband cooks, the kitchen is always in a mess. He takes a long time to clean up afterwards, but I don't care as long as I don't have to cook because I hate cooking. That's the only time I don't mind him taking long.
There you go. And to each his own. To each his own. You have to find a way to dwell with the wife or your husband or you. You have to know your partner and know what you can tolerate and what you cannot tolerate. That's important. One of the things that women don't understand about men is that why men don't notice changes. So they change their hairstyle. A man doesn't notice. If buy a new dress, a man don't notice. And it's true, men, there are a lot of men. Now, remember when we're just talking in general. It doesn't apply to everyone, even as Elder Sheldon said. Not all men suffer from NPV. But we're talking for those who are experiencing these things. And there are men who don't notice changes. And a man will tell you, well, there's too many changes. You can't keep up. Because you don't know from one day to the next what change you're going to make. If every once in a while you make a change, you may notice it. But if it's all the time so, then the changes themselves become the norm anyway. That's for men. So, but what I would say to the men, which is what I do, because I'm one of those who sometimes I don't notice, and that's the truth. You have to make a conscious effort. Make a conscious effort. My son is always putting me in the shade, that's Joshua, because any little change with his mother, he notices. And little change with the house, he notices. I may come home and the whole house change around them. I don't know until somebody, maybe give me a hint or something. And that's not a good thing. This is a confession. It's not a good thing. But men, we have to make a conscious effort, especially when women do things and expect us to notice and to be able to comment favorably on these things. All right? So we just want to continue again. Some of the things that men don't understand. And I'm just pulling things randomly. I just put a few things together to help us to understand that men and women are different. Men don't understand why women like compliments, why they like affection. A man would tell you, a woman would put on something nice and, she's looking good and she expects her husband to say, baby, you're looking good. And men, let me just tell you, please, as I said, make a conscious effort and please try and be the first one to tell her. Because if she goes out there and other men tell her pretty soon after a while, it doesn't matter what you say, as long as other people notice she looks good. So you have to really, really practice. But men don't understand that. A man would say, well, if you wasn't looking good, I would tell you. So the fact that I didn't tell you anything, it means you're looking good. But man, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Women are built that way to receive compliment, to receive affection. Compliment is part of affection. So you have to compliment her. When you compliment her, be specific. Don't say, don't you say, well, you're looking good, girl. Don't be generic. Tell her, be creative. Be creative when you're complimenting, like, baby, that hairstyle makes your face come alive. And or the hair, the color of your hair, it just matches the texture of your eyes and, it makes you look so, be a little creative. And tell her, man, this is trying to help me right now. Tell her how it affects you. Tell her how it makes you feel. Like I feel, baby, like I'm standing next to a queen when I come close to you. These are the things that you need to tell her so that she would know that you appreciate her. And it's not just also about the way she looks, it's about her qualities as well. Maybe I just like the fact that, you have a sense of humor. Maybe I love talking with you, because somehow when we talk, I just feel good about myself. Maybe I love your smile. I tell her, my wife, personally, has the best smile in this whole world as far as I'm concerned. She has a fantastic smile. That's one of the things that caught my attention. All right. So men, even though we may not understand it, we need to do it. It helps. Helps to build the relationship. And men, let me just say this before I take comments. Compliments have an expiry time, amen? In other words, not because you complimented her yesterday, it means, well, I was yesterday, so, next time will be next week. No. complimentary, that was yesterday or that was this morning. If there's something to compliment her about this evening, even if it's the same thing, tell her again. Don't feel because, well, that will work for the next few days. Doesn't work so. It has an expiry time, man. Can't tell you what that time is, but, you know, compliment the ladies. Ladies, what do you say? Am I speaking the truth or am I speaking error?
Dr. Richards, we have some comments in the chat here, right? Someone said that don't say you're looking fat, right?
Yeah,
But
we had to talk
husband.
about, we had to talk about some things, man, that you're not supposed to say, but not tonight, yeah.
Right, and one person said, my husband compliments me often. Another said, successful relationship, I believe, is about lots of compromise and I think the person means to say selflessness, esteem each other higher than you. And then we have someone says, and the reason that she's fat is because of him giving her all those children. Then someone says some men
That's not always the case, ladies. That's not always the case.
Some men too also need to be complimented. And others are agreeing with what you're saying.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, some men, but I'm talking to the men about the ladies right now.
Sister Yene hand is up, and just before Sister Yene speak, someone said, my husband don't like to cook. He never cooked in his life. So he do the cleaning up after cooking. So that's a compromise right there. You know, and let me put a plug in here. Family, what Dr. Richards is saying is really true. He compliments me a lot. He doesn't really care. He's not one that you know, would come and say that I'm looking fat or that type of a thing. I think yes, of course, if maybe I lose weight or do something, of course he'd like that. But it's not something on his forefront, and it's not that he's just telling me that. He loves me for me, you know, and he understands that sometimes it's a struggle for people to really lose weight, you know. So it is really it's really a good thing when you have communication. And Dr. Richard said yesterday, and I really wanted to endorse what he said. One of the things that I would always say, nothing. I'm always the one saying nothing. And one day he said to me, listen, if you don't want to speak about it now, then tell me I don't want to speak about it now. Do not tell me it's nothing, because I know something is going on. And that has been my mantra for years since he spoke to me about that. And this is something, women, you can take it as well, because it really helped me to be a better individual. I'll tell you why. Because when there's an issue and he comes to me, because I do the opposite. Instead of quarreling, I get quiet, because I kind of like go into myself and kind of, you know, so from the moment he notices that I'm quiet, I do answer, and I answer like, you know, I'm not really cold, but I answer like I'm not really wanting to have conversation. And that's a difference to being cold. Because I think when you're cold, you just don't answer, or you answer sharp. I don't do that, but he recognizes it, and then he would say, what's wrong? And I would say, you know what, let's not deal with this now. Or sometimes I might joke and I say, okay, let's save our marriage and we'll come back and discuss it. And then sometimes you realize I don't even need to discuss it, because you kind of calm yourself down, realize we were just, I myself was just being a little hasty at that time, and that's why I got quiet. And I'm using hasty, it's a harsh word, but it's the best word that I can find now. So ladies, let me ask the first lady of this ministry, I want to tell you to take that and run with that. If your spouse comes and asks you a question, and you know how we like to analyze it in our mind and go back over it and all these kind of things, say to your husband, I'm not ready to talk about it. What's wrong? I'm not ready to talk about it right now. Just give me some time. And it helps. It really, really helps to make your marriage better. You understand? So as your first lady, as the spiritual mother of this ministry, please, I am begging you, don't tell your husband nothing is wrong. Because if he gets like that, and you're asking him what's going on, and he doesn't want, and he's telling you nothing, what's going to happen? We get irritated by it, right? Because I know something is wrong with you. Why are you saying nothing? And we start getting upset. But what we do is you say, let's talk about it later. Oh, I'm not ready to talk about it now. And if you help him to do that as well, when he's dealing with something, he'll tell you the same thing. Let's talk about it later. And we do talk about it. We don't just say it and leave it like that. We say that and we continue talking as normal. I think, Dr. Richards, is it safe for me to say that when that happens, that I actually help Dr. Richards put it in a box? And I really separate that and we continue until it's time to come back and say, hey, let's pull that drawer open now because I want to talk to you. You see what you did yesterday and you see what you said. I didn't like it, but we do it in such a peaceful way. And I think as ladies, we can take this and be better wives to our husband and be a better person for ourselves. There's another comment here. My husband is an all-rounder. While I'm saying that, I'm gaining weight. He will always say, baby, you still look good. However, he can cook very well, put away house, excellent. So she's given kudos and things to her husband. Sister Yane.
Good night, everyone. What First Lady just said made me want to say something else. As I was reflecting on what I had said yesterday, and I think I kind of said something about men in general, but then afterwards I was thinking that there are so many people who have difficulty in conflict when it comes to like saying what is on their mind because of childhood experiences. And that's like a very big group of people because a lot of people went through some things in childhood. And sometimes you might see your spouse, like if you get upset with them, like go into a shell. And sometimes you literally cannot speak because your body goes into fight, freeze. And some people freeze and are unable to talk. So I just wanted to say that at times, like you will really have to know your spouse, know their life experiences. Perhaps some therapy will be needed to help in those situations. But it's such a nuanced discussion, like the different reasons why people will get quiet or not want to say or need to really take some time before they could speak and things like this. So yeah, I just wanted to add that. But what I wanted to say before was that I agree wholeheartedly with what Dr. Richards said about don't just compliment women on their appearance, because I had an experience with a young man and he used to compliment me a lot on my physical appearance. And in the beginning, it was flattering and would make me feel nice. But over time, you start to feel, I want to use the word cheap and unseen for who you really are. Because my body is one thing, but it is not me. Like, yeah, I could look nice, but it's not me. Do you see me as a person? Do you value the things that I value about myself? And now, as a Christian, I would say, do you value about me the things that God values about me and the things that God prioritizes about me? Because God isn't looking at his girl children and saying, you know what? She have a nice facial structure. She at the top of the list, Like he doesn't value us based on that. So while it is nice to be complimented by your husband and about certain things, and those things might make you feel good, I think for me, over time, I really do value knowing that you see me for the deeper parts of myself and you're paying attention to those things. So just make up things, but really seek to know me on the inside and value those things about me. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Another one of the things that really are different between men and women and that we have to come to terms with is that and again, this is generally, that women tend to talk more than men, talk among each other. And not only that, but talk generally, so you and your wife having a conversation and most of the time, most of the talking will be done by the female. That's just a natural thing for women. And women are very descriptive and detailed. Sometimes I'm listening to First Lady and she might be talking on the phone saying something to somebody. And I'm like, why is she taking all that time to say this one thing? I would have said that in one sentence. And she would be going on and on and on and on. And I'm saying, I'm listening to her. I'm saying, but I don't understand. For a man, we get to the point. We focus and we get to the point. Women tend to, you know, if you have to go from San Juan to Port of Spain, a woman might have to go and turn off the Battle Highway and go down San Fernando and come back up and then go down Port of Spain, that kind of thing. And a man would just go straight to Port of Spain. And that's generally a difference between men and women. And women tend to even be more descriptive. A man, for example, a man and woman goes to a wedding. And, you know, what his partner asked me, how the wedding was, boy? And he would tell him, it was good and it was cool, you know, plenty to eat, plenty to drink, you know, nice music. And a woman would tell you, she would start from when she was getting ready, what dress she had on, why she had it on, where she bought it, the shoes to match, everything. When they got to the wedding, whether they got late or not, got there late or not, before the bride, before the groom. She would tell you how much people was in the church. She would describe the church. She would go and she would tell you about the reception, about the food, what the bride was wearing, what the groom's men were wearing, what the flower girls and what the ladies are called. And she would tell you all of that when you ask her, how was the wedding? That's just the way women are. They're very descriptive. And so they talk a lot. And in talking, they want to give you all the details, and a man would just generalize, it was good, it was cool. And that's a basic difference between men and women. We are generally to the point. You didn't ask, if you want to find out something specific, ask us something specific. It was good. And that's, as far as we know, we are concerned, it was good. But ladies have to tell you, not just it was good, but why it was good and everything. All right. Yeah. So again, comments, true or lie?
Yes, Dr. Richards, we have some comments and I'm just laughing, yes. So one of the comments is that I am always ready to talk about it. I like to deal with issues and get over it. If I wait for later, I just let it go. Me too. Me too. Me too. It may not be the best thing, but I don't like to drag on things. Another comment, some men don't remember birthday or do not continue what they started. Another, me too. I like to deal with things immediately and get it over with. Someone says, Pastor Noel, us women have to make sure you get the full picture. It's more dramatic. Then someone says they are not very descriptive. Another, not so. My husband is a life wire in any conversation. He will make friends more quickly than I. Another said, anyhow, I have a God-sent husband. I always thank God for him. Another, yes, we like to paint a picture. And another, so funny, but true. Another, but Pastor, you understand women? No. And then another, yes, sometimes if I ask my hubby something and if he answers short, I'll be like, but what else? That's all? That's me too. I do that with Dr. Richards, you know.
You know, one of the things with First Lady and I have to make a conscious, I told her, I have to make a conscious effort to change this. But I would say to her, I spoke to so-and-so, or somebody give me a message to give her, whatever it is. And she would ask me, so how she said it? And what did she say? And that's how she, and I remember the message. I remember what I have to say to you. But to remember what words the person used and how they said it and what tone and all of that, that is the last thing from my mind. But firstly, somebody, she wants to know, and maybe I don't know if all women are that, specifics. But men are not always that specific. We get generally what we want to say and how we want to say it. So basically, this is the message. This is the information. I saw a skit with that once with a man. Let me not talk about it because I remember exactly about his wife asking him, questions. He gave her a message, and she kept asking questions about the message, and he just kept repeating the same message because that was the message. That was the message. He didn't ask. Oh, that's the next thing. We don't ask other questions. Somebody tells us something. We don't ask, but you want to know. So what about that? Well, I don't know. I didn't ask. And what about so and so? Well, I didn't ask that. And they seem to think we need to know. So it apparently meant we don't ask enough questions. I see we are out of time. I just wanted tonight, what I wanted to do tonight really is just a highlight that there are some basic differences between men and women. That's what I wanted to do. There's some more, but we've run out of time for tonight. There are differences and we have to learn each other. I have to learn First Lady, she has to learn me. But not just to get to know her, to know what to do, but I need to, for example, I have to learn her so that I would know how to treat with her. So as I said, I have to remember now, if I'm talking to somebody and I have to carry information for First Lady, I have to try and remember all these things. What did the person say? How they said it? I have to do that because I know she's going to ask me. So you have to know your partner, know what they want, know what makes them tick. Dwell with your wife according to knowledge. Get to know your partner, and it's vice versa. Vice versa. And some of these things we talk about that men do, and some women do it, and vice versa. So again, it depends on you and your partner, that person that you're living with. I want to end by somebody sent me this today. Another thing about men, and somebody sent it to me. It says a husband is walking by his wife at 2 a.m. and she asked him, the wife asked, what year was the Black Power movement? And the husband said 1970. And she asked him, what year did Trinidad and Tobago become a republic? He said 1976. And she said, when did we get independence from England? He said 1962. She said, when was the attempted coup? The husband said 1990. And then he said, so why are you asking me all these questions at 2 o'clock in the morning? And she says, yesterday was my birthday. I hope you got that. Man, yeah, some of us don't remember certain important things. We remember everything else, but we don't remember the important things. So we got to be careful. I remember, people have to understand, sometimes men, you got to do things smart. A lot of people tell men don't remember anniversaries. I make sure that my wife and I got married on my birthday, so I can never forget the anniversary. It's my birthday. Maybe you should try something like that, man. All right. But, we've come to the end of tonight. And as I said, tonight was just to highlight, humorously, in some cases, the differences between men and women. And so there are a lot more differences. And we would want to talk about what do we do, how to deal with these differences, how to really work together as a couple, as husbands and wives. We want to talk about how to prepare for marriage as well, right? All that is in the future that we will be talking. So that's it for this evening. Thank you so much. I'm going to hand you back over to First Lady. God richly bless you. Have a wonderful weekend. And remember, as First Lady was saying, the fast ends. I was saying that I'm back on the screen and somebody put some word enjoyed. And I was going to say end, and I said enjoy. The fast ends at midnight on Friday night. And please, not because the fast ends, it means that you start eating and eating. Don't undo what God has been doing over the last 7 days, okay? So God richly bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful